Hi, Lorraine. Thank you so much for meeting with me today. I'm really excited to get to know more about you and your experience as a content writer. I'm currently content manager, so I'm excited to know more about your experience. So let's just dive in. Can you tell me more about your experience with SEO content writing?
I have 3.5 years of experience with content writing. I've written for companies in various industries, including print publishing, web publishing, and capital markets. When I write for publication on the web, I always make sure that my content is SEO friendly, as I've learned that SEO optimized articles reach a lot more people and drive more traffic into the website I'm writing for.
Yeah, I completely agree. That's wonderful to hear. How are you optimizing blogs and other long form content?
There is a lot of research that goes into writing SEO optimized content. For instance, you have to determine which keyword phrases you will use, which internal links you can incorporate into the article, what the optimal length of the article is based on the topic. The most important for me still is to write high quality and high value content, something people will want to read about. In order to produce content like that, you have to look at the metrics. What are people searching for? What is the level of competition in a given keyword? And how hard is it to outrank competitors in Google? Other than this, it's also important to write meta descriptions, SEO titles, and alt text for images. Search engines can pull up the material more easily, and the article would be able to drive clicks.
Wow, that's awesome. That seems very detailed. I love to hear all of that. And can you tell me a little bit more about your favorite SEO tools that you were using in your prior work?
My two favorite tools are SEMrush and Yoast SEO. I use this to check not only SEO but also readability, tone of voice, and originality.
Okay, sounds good. And then did you ever collaborate with other team members when you were writing, such as SEO specialists, graphic designers, or editors? Can you tell me what that looked like?
Yes, I worked with SEO specialists before, sometimes for determining keyword phrases, and with graphic designers, of course, for creating images that will be incorporated into the article.
Oh, wow. Okay, that's great. A large part of this role will incorporate you collaborating with people just like that in capacities of a very similar nature. That's great to hear. All right. And my next question for you is, can you tell me a time when you had to adapt your writing voice and style to something very different than what you were used to?
I actually worked as a freelancer before, and then I had to adapt my writing voice and style to match the needs of various clients.
Okay, that's great. And how long did it usually take you to conform to this new voice?
Fairly quickly, I needed to adjust to the deadline set by the client, so I had to learn how to conform to new voices given only some hours.
Oh, wow. Okay, so pretty quickly. And then what tools or strategies did you use to help yourself conform to this voice?
What worked for me is reading extensively on various subjects. You have to be knowledgeable in different fields of study to be able to write well on topics under them. I also create and use a word bank, which is basically a collection of words I have found to be relevant to the topic while conducting research.
Interesting. That's definitely something I've not heard about before is a word bank, but that's really interesting. I can see how it would be really helpful for adapting your voice. Yeah, that's super cool. And then can you tell me a time when you were required to write a blog on something you weren't familiar with?
I've encountered this scenario a lot in the past. For instance, I remember working on a project on vocational psychology. The client wanted me to produce articles that discuss different occupations and career paths. I'm a communication arts major, and I had to write about engineering, medicine, education, and other fields to which I'm an outsider.
That's a lot of different disciplines. And how did you approach this task?
Extensive research. I may have spent more time researching than actually writing on the subjects. I made sure to research enough where I was comfortable enough to use the language and jargon of the industry or topic. This process usually takes an extra hour or two.
That's not too bad. And then what's your process for writing an informative piece with authority?
I use credible sources to back up my points. My go-to website for credible sources is Google Scholar. It's very useful, especially if you're writing content that is academic in nature.
That's wonderful. Yes, that is an amazing resource. So that's great to hear. That's kind of your go-to. And then my next two questions include, what do you think are the top 3 things that make up a great blog and why?
A good blog, I think, is SEO optimized. Before anything else, it should rank well in search results and reach its target audience. Second, a good blog has an informative and engaging body. It answers a question that a reader has in mind or gives them valuable insights on a subject. Third, a good blog ends with a powerful call to action. It should be able to direct the audience to do something after reading, whether it be reading another article or following a social media account, or something even deeper, like going to a protest.
Can you give me your opinion on like analytics and what you analyze when it comes to high performing or low performing blogs?
There are concrete ways by which you can tell your blog is performing well. You can look into Google Analytics for that. First, you can measure your blog by page views, how many people are actually reading your content. Second, you can look into the average time on page and bounce rate to measure the engagement of the audience. Third, you can look into the conversion rate. How effective are your call to actions?
Oh, wow. Yeah, I completely agree. I think that's so important to look at metrics because, you don't know what you don't measure. And so that's just amazing that you've gotten in the habit of picking out your favorite tools and identifying what those metrics are. That's just amazing. And then what do you think are the top 3 things that make up a great writer and why?
It's actually a pretty hard question. It's something that a lot of writers have been for decades debating about. A great writer for me, especially an SEO content writer, is a great researcher. She is able to gather data from disparate sources and come up with content that's unique and of high value. Second, a great writer is flexible. She's capable of writing on various subjects, shifting to different tones and adjusting to different mediums. And lastly, a great writer is efficient. She is capable of producing huge amounts of content in a short period of time.
Wow, that's awesome. Well, I completely agree with those points. And I think your answers are just so insightful. Thank you so much. That's really all the questions I have for you today. So I just want to thank you for your time and I'll get back to you on the role.
Thank you so much, Audrey. You have a great day.
You too, Lorraine. Thank you.